Hey everybody, Jason here. So I've been thinking about doing a video on this topic for a while, and I've held off because I'm not an expert, but I've been thinking about it, and what I realize is that I do have some expertise in that I'm not an expert. That expertise is that I'm learning Spanish, living in a Spanish-speaking country, and I know the challenges, but I also know from firsthand experience what the most useful Spanish phrases have been for me as I learn the language. And before I forget those phrases, I thought I'd share them. So when I first came to Mexico, I didn't know any Spanish. Like, I knew some. I knew how to count to 10, and I knew how to say please and thank you. Not a whole lot more than that. I've been taking lessons for now about a year, and I am starting to be able to have some basic conversations while I'm out, and it's wonderful. One of the first things I realized living here in Mexico was that I should have spent more time learning the numbers in Spanish before I came. We use numbers for everything. We use it to ask someone how old they are. We ask how much something costs. We tell people how many of something we want. We use numbers a lot in day-to-day life, and when I came here only knowing 1 to 10, it didn't go very far at all. So before I get into the phrases that I would recommend you learn before coming to Mexico, I would say learn the numbers from 1 to 1,000. Once you know the numbers from 1 to 1,000, it's easy to learn the numbers beyond 1,000. It's like learning 1 to 20 and then learning 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 because the numbers repeat themselves. So it's not that difficult. Learn the numbers from 1 to 1,000. It'll go very far. So the next phrase or phrases that I would recommend are the polite phrases. Those phrases that hopefully your parents taught you when you were a kid. They are the please, por favor, the thank you, gracias, and the I'm sorry, lo siento. If you only learn these 10 phrases for your visit to Mexico, if you know how to say please and thank you and I'm sorry, you can add that on to the other 9 phrases and be polite. And when you're polite, people are going to help you a lot more. The next set of phrases that I'd recommend are the greetings. Being able to say hello or hi, hola, and understanding the difference between buenos dias, buenas tardes, and buenas noches. It's going to be important to understand that there's a difference between saying good morning and good night, and that when you say buenos dias, it's really only in the morning until noon, and then it's buenas tardes, afternoon, and then when the sun goes down, it's noches, buenas noches. Saying goodbye, it's easy, adios. But there's other words that you can learn. One that's really common in Mexico is hasta luego. It's like saying see you later. If you only know adios, it's okay. You'll be able to say buenos dias, buenas tardes, or buenas noches, and you can say adios when you're saying goodbye. The next phrase is pretty important because if you can't speak the language and you're traveling around in a country that's a different language, you're going to need some help. And you're going to need help from people who speak a different language. You're going to need to know how to say, ¿Puedes ayudar? Can you help? ¿Puedes ayudar? The next phrase is probably pretty obvious, but I'm trying to put them in importance. And I think this phrase is not as important as the ones I've said up to now. The next phrase is no hablo español. I don't speak Spanish. So you can now say, ¿Puedes ayudar? No hablo español. Or you can say, buenos días, lo siento. No hablo español. ¿Puedes ayudar? Sí, ¿con qué? Next up in our list of importance, shouldn't surprise you. It's ¿Dónde está el baño? This is an important one to know. You'll be traveling around, you'll be in the airport, you'll be in a bus station, a train station, a restaurant. You'll need to go, and you'll need to know how to say it. ¿Dónde está el baño? What's important about this is the ¿Dónde está? If you remember that, and that's the where is the, you can add other words as you learn them. ¿Dónde está el supermercado? ¿Dónde está el banco? ¿Dónde está mi coche? But most important, in my opinion, ¿dónde está el baño? And again, we can combine these words. We can say, ¿Dónde está el baño? And then when they tell you, you can say gracias. Or you can say, hola, ¿puedes ayudar? ¿Dónde está el baño? El baño está allá. Gracias. Next is you're going to need things. And this one was kind of interesting for me to learn. Here in Mexico, in Spanish, there's different ways of saying that you need something, but the most common way is to say, I want. And I want is quiero. You can say quiero whatever, and then add por favor. Quiero is I want. And to me, it always seemed like it was a little bit rude to say I want. But here it's common and it's okay. Maybe if you don't add the por favor at the end, then it might be a little rude, a little bossy maybe. But if you add it, then it's just common language and it's polite. I want 3 tacos, please. Quiero 3 tacos, por favor. After you ask for something, because the people here are so friendly and accommodating, they will ask you, do you want anything else? And you need to be able to say, no, that's all. And it's easy. No, eso es todo. Gracias. So you can say, hola, quiero 3 tacos, por favor. Claro. ¿Algo más? No, eso es todo. Gracias. You're also going to want to know how to ask how much something costs. ¿Cuánto cuesta? And it's, how much does this cost? ¿Cuánto cuesta? And that's when your numbers come in. 100 pesos, por favor. Another one that I still struggle with when I say it, because to me it seems not friendly enough. But again, it's just, there's a difference between English and Spanish. Different ways of saying things. English doesn't translate exactly, and Spanish doesn't translate exactly. And this is what I'm learning. But what I struggle with is asking for the bill. La cuenta. It's the bill. The account. Of course, add por favor, and then it's not just you saying, the bill? The bill, please? Very common. La cuenta, por favor? So what all can you say in Spanish now? Buenas noches. Quiero 3 tacos, por favor. Buenas noches. Sí, creo. ¿Quieres un bebida? No, eso es todo. Gracias. ¿Cuánto cuesta? 100 pesos, por favor. La cuenta, por favor? Aquí. Está la cuenta. Gracias. And number 10 on this list that comes in often is I don't understand. No entiendo. ¿Entiendes? No entiendo. I tend to add lo siento because I know the other person is trying to help me out. ¿Puedes ayudar? Sí, pero necesitas hablar clara. No entiendo. Lo siento. So those are the 10 most used phrases that I use here in Mexico. I hope they help you out. I think they'll get you a long way. Just remember to add those lo sientos, por favors, gracias as often as you can. And yeah, you'll do just fine. Before ending this video, I'm going to say one other thing that I find really interesting is that being in another country, learning a different language, and seeing the improvement that I make is a fantastic experience. It's one of the best parts of being in another country, learning another language. But a part of that is this interesting thing that happens when I'm out, I'm communicating with someone in Spanish. I don't understand everything they say, the words, but somehow I understand what they're telling me. Of course, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm completely lost and I say, lo siento, no entiendo. But usually I understand. Either it's from body language or just this mutual understanding that we're capable of as humans. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.